Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother and Dad. Love, Ruth, John, Mark, Pamela, Patricia, and Peter. 1968, Part 153. Now this first part is writing an essay that my sister Patricia wrote that presumably Ruth included in one of her letters to her mother. Undated story by Patty Ray. When I grow up, I want to be a stewardess because I like to fly in airplanes, and I like to go up in the air. It's fun to look down at all the light at night. And now I've told one thing I want to be when I grow up. After I'm a stewardess long enough, I'll be a part-time teacher because I like to take care of little children. After I've been that as long as I want, to be a pianist and play the piano the very best I could. And after I've played the piano as long as I want to, I'll get married and have children. First I'll have 2 girls, and a few years later I'll have twin boys. And I'll play the piano to them to make them go to sleep. This next letter is from my father, John S. Ray. Myers, Stevens, and Ray, attorneys at law, 815 Superior Avenue, Cleveland, 14, Ohio. November 8th, 1957. So this is 11 years earlier. Out of order. Dear Mr. Smallshaw, I want to offer you our heartfelt thanks for your understanding in agreeing that your most capable wife give us a hand here when we have really needed it. The women that we had lined up to come fell by the wayside for different good reasons, and we were definitely in the lurch. He's referring to the birth of my sister, Patricia A. Ray. We especially appreciate your thoughtfulness in view of the recent passing of your father. He was a good man, and we shall always respect his memory. My trip to the Orient was another wonderful experience. Thank heaven Red and I were together when the new baby arrived. Thank you again. Sincerely yours, John Ray. And another letter from my father, John S. Ray, again back in 1957. Myers, Stevens, and Ray, attorneys at law, 2021 NBC Building, Cleveland, Ohio. December 3rd, 1957. Dear folks, last Thursday, November 28th, we felt that Mark and Pam were well enough to get out of bed, and today Mark went outside to play. Pam still has a cough. The bugs this winter are bad ones. Again, we want to thank you so much for your help with the arrival of Patricia Ann. It meant a great deal to us. Red has been feeling fine. It's beginning to look like winter again here with about 1 inch of snow today. Business continues to be quite good. Best of luck. Love, John. And now we're back to the letters from my mother in 1968. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio, June 28, 1968. Dear Mother and Dad, we just returned from the library where we showed this year's underwater movies. They gave us this note paper, which I certainly can put to good use. The girls are at Girl Scout camp for these 2 weeks. Mark is out on the Order of the Arrow without tents or equipment, just a sleeping bag. Peter is taking swimming lessons this week. I hope that you can take your trip to Minnedosa. We are planning an educational trip at the request of the children to Washington, D.C., Williamsburg, Virginia, and possibly Virginia Beach. Our trip to the historical spots is long overdue since they all studied in schools and most families take it during Easter vacation. We will probably go in August when Mark is back from New Mexico and Peter is finished at day camp. We had such a hot, humid weekend for Bud's visit, but it hasn't been that hot since, only those few days. He asked for a recipe for my shashlik, so I'll send it to you for him. A few days after he was here, we were invited to the junior high for Pam's assembly, where she received several honors. Last year she was taken into the Junior National Honor Society, and this year maintained her high average of 3.7. 3 is a B and 4 is an A, and she stood 6th or 7th in the class of about 200. She also tied for the French award with several students. She was a reading tutor, and she received the Good Citizenship Award with several for having 10 M's. She also was on the winning softball team and won high bowling singles. Most of her friends also won honors. For her best birthday, she had 7 girls all night from 5 p.m., so a wild night. They were on the 3rd floor and didn't sleep until 5 o'clock a.m. For dinner and until about 2 p.m. the next day. It was too bad she went to 3 different parties the weekend Bud was here. She's really the peppiest one of us all. Olive sent her another sterling spoon for the collection she started for Pamela, the Joan of Arc pattern. I do hope you are okay. I didn't think you were needing help. John makes $35,000 a year now, but expenses rise to meet income. The average salary in Shaker Heights is $23,500, highest in the nation. I wish I could send you some of our lovely roses. Love, Ruth. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio, July 15th, 1968. Dear Mother and Dad, our nice leisurely summer certainly seems to be slipping by so quickly. It's such a nice time that I wish I could go on forever. Peter asked when Dad could get out of work, like the children are out of school, and Pamela said that the best holiday would be to have Dad stay home from work and not go anywhere. It seems as though we just finished washing, ironing, labeling all the girls' things and packing them off to camp, then got Mark through the same routine when it was time to bring the girls home and unpack, wash, and iron again. Mark should be having a strenuous adventure in New Mexico. He'll be back on Sunday. Pamela came home so appreciative of her home, parents, upbringing, manners, and grammar. Pamela is such a worker that she said she would do the jobs while others argued about who should do it. She is especially proud of her father. However, for all her appreciation of her environment, her hereditary traits of diligence and enthusiasm are what really impress me. The whole house has a different character when she's home. Patty seemed to grow so tall and also had a fine time, but is much quieter about it. She began her swimming lessons today and is one of 4 in the intermediate and swimmer class, so doing very well. Peter began his wrestling classes today, and I now have them all over at the swimming pool. The outdoor swimming pool. Peter has gone off the high diving board about 40 times. Saturday we went on a 6-mile canoe trip with the Indian guides. John is chief, and yesterday we went to a private swimming pool party. I took half a watermelon, almost a hole filled with fruit, watermelon balls, cantaloupe balls, cherries, grapes, apple, banana, strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. We have reservations in Washington, D.C. for August 10th to the 14th and Williamsburg, Virginia, August 14th to 17th. We may go to a beach later. We hope that you accept Chris's invitation and wish that you would visit us also. Hers was a very nice letter, and we too would like to order some of your plates. All that you paint, but don't send them, bring them. We are going to Marion, Ohio on the 28th for a family reunion at Barb and Bill Smith's home. Marge and Harold Frelick's return from England. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, Pamela, Patty, and Peter. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio, August 9th, 1968. Dear Mother and Dad, Hi! We've been wondering how you are and what kind of a summer you've been having, and if you have had any further trip plans. Several times on the television they mentioned a cold front you were having that might come down but never did. As a matter of fact, one night the beginning feature news was about a cold front at Regina, Saskatchewan, and I did notice in the newspaper your cooler temperatures. I hope it warmed up for you. We've had a delightful summer, and I hate to see it come to an end with school starting. The children have had so many successful activities this summer. Ann Duff just phoned to invite us to a picnic Sunday, although we can't go. As I told Ann, there was only one Sunday that we were all home, and that Sunday Barb and Bill Smith had a family reunion in Marion, Ohio, with Marge and Harold Freilich back from 2 years in England. Even Great-Grandma Zook was there. She'll be 98 in September, and her sister is 100 years old. It was nice to see everyone. About 28 relatives were there. We wondered if you got to Minnedosa. John sent flowers for Aunt Lizzie's birthday. Hope she got them, and they were nice. I wonder if she knew who they were from. You had also mentioned visiting Chris Field in August, or a possibility of it, Chris's invitation. I am sure Bud and Doris and their family had a fine trip out west. It's good they got a station wagon. I often wondered how they managed in such a small car. Even though the station wagon is a small one, it would be better. We've enjoyed this station wagon so much. It's a nice passenger Mercury Colony Park. John got it air-conditioned for our trip. I was afraid he was going to get a new car, so I was relieved when he just got it air-conditioned. It's an expensive item, but worth it when the heat bothers him driving. He deserves it anyway. He's made $22,400 in the first 6 months this year. We leave tomorrow morning for our trip to Washington, D.C., Williamsburg, Virginia, and Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Tomorrow we drive to the Shenandoah National Park and drive through it to Lewis Mountain, and John has rented a cabin in the mountains for us. Then we drive to Washington, D.C. for 4 days of sightseeing. The White House, Arlington Cemetery, John F. Kennedy's grave, the Mint, FBI building, and all the spots the children have studied in school. John has reserved rooms at the Statler Hilton Hotel for 4 days, Sunday, August 11th through Thursday, August 15th. Then we go to Williamsburg, Virginia for 3 days of visiting the historical spots that the children have studied. Also Jamestown, Virginia, and Georgetown. I thought it would be nice to rent one of the historical houses to stay in, but the children want to stay where there's a swimming pool. So John has reservations at the Williamsburg Motor Lodge for the 15th, 16th, and 17th, which has 3 swimming pools. Then we're going to Cape Hatteras, the out island off North Carolina, and John has rented a cottage on the ocean. It will have room for 7 people at least, so why don't you join us there? We'll be there for a week from the 17th to the 24th. Then we stop at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for the 24th and 25th overnight on the way back. Then we have 2 days at home, the 26th and 27th for John to check in at the office and us to wash and iron, and then to Lakeside, Ohio for the family reunion until school starts from August 28th to September 3rd. So we've been trying to get things ready for everyone to begin school. Mark had a wonderful trip out to Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico and did a lot of mountain climbing, some horseback riding, and hiking. Since he's home, he's been caddying at Westwood Country Club, except for several days that he was invited to his friend Chip Richmond's summer house on a lake. Pamela and Patty had a fine time at their different camps, and Peter at his swimming lessons and day camp. Patty made such strides in her swimming that she passed swimmer with an excellent and breezed through intermediate. The next step is life-saving, but she's too young to take it. We all went to Cedar Point on Monday. John has 200 shares of stock for it for Mark and Pamela's college fund. It's a smaller version of Disneyland. Very nice. While we were at Cape Hatteras, we planned to visit the island of the wild horses, Chincoteague. Mrs. White's heard of it. John was put on the Beechcliff Board of Trustees by Mr. White's. They had given the girls kilts that they brought back from Ireland, but Patty's was too small, so she gave Patty the book Misty, by and autographed by her friend Marguerite Henry. It's about the wild horses there on Chincoteague. Pamela also loves horses. She rode most of the month she spent in California several years ago with John's Uncle Tom, so it should be interesting. I would like to have gone back to the expo in Montreal. If you come east, you should go there. Mark wanted to go to Cape Cod, Massachusetts, but since we were down further south, we decided we should visit the country there, and I always have the urge to visit the ocean. We will be going to Nassau, Bahamas next January for the National Defense Counselors Convention on Paradise Island. I don't think I could survive a winter now without the prospects of going to the islands. The Gregorys have friends who bought a castle in Scotland, so they are taking their sons to visit them. The Duffs took their eldest 5 children to Alaska. Anne's mother is now in a nursing home. She's 80 years old. Wayne is now vice president of Akron University. I'm at the hairdresser's right now, then the dry cleaners, car wash, shoemakers, cleats on the new fall shoes, garage, finished the check on the car, then finished washing, ironing, and packing for the trip. Oh, we spent one weekend camping on Kelly's Island. We took the boat ferry over. If you visit Chris's farm, you should catch the ferry at Leamington and come over to Sandusky. You can take the car on the boat and it cuts out the driving around. Sunday night, August 11th. What a full schedule we've had since I began this. When I returned home, my capable daughters had made 90 cookies and packed them in tins for the trip, 2 kinds, and cleaned up after baking and had the packing well underway. Pamela is such a hard worker and really my right hand in organizing and packing. She's so much more efficient than I am. For our camping trip, she did all the packing and set up and took down the tent and did the cooking. She also put up the tent in the backyard for the little ones to sleep in, and also spent one night with her girlfriend in it. We spent last night on Lewis Mountain in the Shenandoah National Park in a cabin for 8 people, a lovely mountainous area, the Blue Ridge Mountains of the Appalachia Mountains. It was foggy yesterday, but beautiful, seeing the mists rising and clear today. We also visited the Luray Caverns in Virginia, huge caverns of stalactites and stalagmites and cathedral rooms, very picturesque. Tonight we are in Washington, D.C. and have a gorgeous 3-huge-room suite with a view of the White House just a couple blocks away. Very impressive. This suite is gorgeous. 3 televisions and beautiful sofas, elegant decorations, gold draperies, olive carpeting, beautiful mirrors and lamps. We walked by the White House and walked to and up in the Washington Monument, a U.S. pyramid, very impressive. The children climbed. John and I went up in the elevator. We met one of the delegates to the Republican convention from Nevada. He'd never heard of Spiro Agnew before either. The children are at such a good age to visit this very impressive city. Tonight was such a lovely night for walking around. All the buildings are floodlit and it's warm and reminds us of Nassau, Bahamas. I really didn't expect it to be such a lovely city. Tomorrow we'll tour some more. Pamela is keeping the family log and Patty collecting and making a record book, scrapbook. Mark reminds us about eating and Peter likes to get his sleep. Good night. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, Pamela, Patty, and Peter. P.S. Our address at Cape Hatteras, if you'd like to join us, is Colony Realty, P.O. Box 32, Avon, North Carolina. Now here's a letter from Mark to his Aunt Helen and Uncle Fred Zook. Dear Aunt Helen and Uncle Fred, I hope you have a very happy Christmas and Happy New Year. I hope you will enjoy the notepaper that I made for you. Thank Uncle Fred for the stamps also. Love, your godson, Mark. Now the next letters are from the beginning of Small Shaw Family Memories Collection, or SFMC number 71, published on November 9th, 2001. Letter from the editor of the SFMC, yours truly, Peter J. Ray. Hi everybody, here are this issue's highlights. Dear Pamela, we love to hear from you. Mark is on his newspaper route. He finished the yard and Patty is reading in the hammock. Peter is playing with Stevie Strawbridge. Patty really missed you in bed. She says it will be bad when you go to college. I wanted to know if you will come home for a vacation then. Patty made chocolate cake for supper and put on marshmallow icing. She misses you. Today was Rocky River Day, but it rained so hard they had to stop the races and cancel the concert and fireworks. Mark misses you but will not admit it. Patty will be glad to have you back. Love, Mother. And this is a letter from Pam. Dear family, she's camping. I am having a great time. Please send my butterfly net immediately. Right now I am soaking my feet. Everyone's running around stating their sad condition. My health is fine, morale fantastic, and gaiety unbelievable. I am dearly loved by one and all because of my various talents in the humor field, as well as imagination. If you think I'm funny at home, you should see me now. Man, love, Pam. So, that gives you a little taste to whet your SFMC appetite. Well, I have some space to fill, so let me try to think of something to say that is worthwhile. Everything is fine here in the Philippines. Oh, Timmy said something funny. We were talking about new names for sports teams. He came up with a beauty, the Mexico Rosenblums. Ha ha ha. Tim took the Cleveland Indians' elimination in the playoffs pretty hard. I was feeling guilty for raising him to be a Cleveland sports fan. Anyway, he cried for a good 10 minutes when he learned the Indians were out. I kept saying to him, "It's okay, Tim, it's okay." He replied, "Maybe for you." He cried about it, then was over it. I, on the other hand, was in a bad mood for a week. So I should say he handled it better than I did. We are halfway through the school year and enjoying this week a 1-week vacation. Therefore, we accordingly have been going to Roosevelt Park and playing baseball every day with Tim's friends. Billy Kopelmans, Sam De La Pena, Daffy Dominguez, Cholo Dominguez, Jazzle Dominguez, Patricia Chua, Kevin Reyes, Dexter Togel, Banju Reyes, and Jed. We have one heck of a time over there. I am the designated pitcher and doing a fine job. The boys have improved so much that sometimes I try to strike them out by changing speeds, surprising them with fastballs and change-ups. We also have adjusted the home run rules because long fly balls to left didn't have a chance to reach the fence. We're looking forward to going to Cleveland in December. Runs to the post office, Dad's office, free cookies at Giant Eagle, and Cleveland Cavaliers and Barons games. Now the first letter is from Mark in 1964, so this is 4 years earlier. And there's several letters. Mark and Pam were at camp. First is from Mark. Dear Mom and Dad, August 29th, 1964. Dear Mom and Dad, today is my 8th day here. We went on the death hike last night. Boy, what a hike. I got 4 soakers. So far, I have gotten my 303, 707, 111, and 505 and the run of the arrow. We have 7 kids in our cabin. They are Mark, Ray, Jeff Apremian, John Rowland, John Gilbert, Bill Gardner, David Grayson, Gary Buck, and a new kid. Dan Wilson was in our cabin, but he got too homesick and had to go home. Will you please write to me? I haven't gotten any letters from you. Love, Mark. There's another postcard, looks like, from Mark, 1964. Dear Pam, Patty, and Peter, how are you? Have you seen any good butterflies? How's Stevie, Peter? Peter Baum, how's Sandy? Are you ready to go to Lakeside? I can't think of anything else to say except I've had a good time here, so bye for now. Love, Mark. And here's another letter from Mark. Willoughby, Ohio, August 22nd, 1964. Dear Mom and Dad, so far camp has been great except it has rained solid, except for about 5 hours last evening. Here at camp they have 5 physical fitness tests. They are the tree climb, a run all the way around the camp, the rail walk, the hunt for some animal, the obstacle course, and shoulder carry. If you pass one of these, you get the number of it written in magic marker on you. So far, I have passed the 707 and the 505. Jeff and I have bunks right next to each other. Love, Mark. P.S. They really fill you up here. Love, Mark. Another letter from Mark. Letter addressed to Miss... This is a letter... Pam was at camp, and Mark wrote her a letter. Letter addressed to Miss Pamela Ray, Fernwood, Camp Julia Crowell, Route 303, West Richfield, Ohio. August 10th, 1966. Dear Pam, Hi, how's life at Camp Julia Crowell? Are there many insects? You know that longhorn I got while you were checking in? Well, the antenna broke off, but I managed to glue them back on with Elmer's glue. Guess what? I just got another newspaper route with the Sun Herald. I deliver it Thursdays at 6 in the morning. Groan, oof, yawn. Peter, Stevie, and Johnny are making a monster float for Rocky River Day. I was helping them at Johnny's this morning when I saw a large black butterfly and caught it. Guess what it was? Guess. It was a female tiger swallowtail in the dark form. It is even rarer than a zebra. Well, that's about it. Please write, your trustworthy, loyal, great, magnificent, fantastic, wonderful, modest brother, Mark. This is another letter from Mark to Pam when she's at camp. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio, August 15th, 1966. Dear Pam, nothing much has happened. I'm getting my things ready for camp. I finally got a good flashlight. It looks like this. The fireworks were rained out. They will be held next Wednesday. I'll be gone. Today I went over to the swimming pool to see if I passed life-saving. Do you think I did? Guess? Yes, I passed. Hooray! Your net is on its way. Butterfly net. Please give me some of the neat butterflies. Please? Pretty please? Pretty please with sugar and ice cream on top? From Mark. And another letter from, from Ruth to Pamela at camp. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio. Dear Pamela, Mark and I went to the library today and took out Little Women so you can have it until September 8th. However, it is too heavy to mail. Will cost too much, so we'll take it to Michigan for you. I'm mailing the Butterfly Net and another lighter book. Hope you haven't read it. Maybe you can trade books with someone to read. You can use the box to store your writing things in and use it as a desk. Didn't I put a pen in your purse? I put one in the box, too. I'm enclosing another envelope so you can write again. We love to hear from you. Mark is on his newspaper route. He finished the yard and Patty is reading in the hammock. Peter is playing with Stevie. We love you, Mother. P.S. Do let us know what else to pack for Michigan. It costs 65 cents to mail your butterfly net. Now another letter from Ruth to Pamela. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio. Dear Pamela, we certainly have enjoyed your letters. You've been so good about writing. I'm glad your butterfly net arrived in time and hope that your sweatshirt will arrive in time to do some good. We are so very sorry that you now have a cold and do hope you are better and the other girls too. It has been so rainy and I imagine more damp there with so many trees. I think the weather should get hotter and help you get over your cold. Last night, I'm writing this at 5 o'clock in the morning, Daddy's partners, Mr. Kent Myers and Mr. Dick Stevens and the other men and their wives, we all went to dinner at the Cleveland Athletic Club. They are thinking of taking a new man into the office and wanted us to meet him. We had a wonderful roast beef dinner, shrimp cocktail, and then they brought in a little cake with meringue on it and 3 candles, baked Alaska for our wedding anniversary, and served it with strawberries. Mrs. Vogler came to look after the children and played games with them. Daddy will be over for you Saturday morning. We certainly hope you feel better. Love, Mother. And the next letter is from Ruth to Pamela. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio, August 7th, 1966. Dearest Pamela, we were so glad to see your tent and dining hall, country store, and your new roommates. I hope you have a wonderful time. Daddy says that you should. Your counselors all seem so nice, too. After we left you, we tried to find a lake to swim and picnic, but everywhere seemed crowded and the water didn't look too good. We guess the Bahamas spoiled us. So after a small picnic, we came home and went to the swimming pool for a swim. Patty really missed you in bed. She says it will be bad when you go to college and wanted to know if you will come home for a vacation then. Mark has a 2-hour life-saving exam to study for tomorrow. What did we forget? Anything I should send? It looked like a place I'd like to sleep. Hope they fix the bed. I'll enclose some wire. We'll take your books back to the library. What would you like Mark or Patty to sign out for you to take to Michigan? I thought Anne of Green Gables a good book. Have a good time. Love, Mother, your dad, Mark, Patty, and Peter. And another letter from Ruth to Pamela. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio, Monday, August 8th, 1966. Dearest Pamela, today was such a lovely day and we all wondered how you are and hope you are enjoying camp. This morning I drove the children to Patty's swimming lessons. I went to Westgate and bought Daddy a plaid shirt and Peter a shorts and shirt set for school. Mark didn't seem to be studying enough for his life-saving exam. He said it was long. He'll know by Friday if he passed. Peter and Stevie were over at Johnny White's making a fire engine float for Rocky River Day. They watered down the paint so it was a gray pink. Patty played the piano at Margot's. Margot can't leave her yard for 2 weeks. Daddy and the children went for a swim while I went to see about some new kitchen ideas. Then we visited the McQuilkins. They might visit us in Michigan. And Helen might come up also. Let us know if you need anything or what you'd like me to pack for Michigan and Lakeside. Tomorrow I'm going to take Mark shopping for school shoes, gym shoes, socks, and flashlight. Would you like us to send mosquito netting? I planted some new grass seed and cultivated the roses. Good night. We love you. Mother, Dad, Mark, Patty, and Peter. And another letter from Ruth to Pamela. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio. Dear Pamela, we got your letter today and so sorry about your sore throat. Wish you'd taken Aquamint along. Daddy doesn't feel well tonight either. We hope you'll all be better to go to Michigan. Patty and I watched a movie about the Boy Scouts hiking and camping. We mailed your sweatshirt today. Hope you can use it. Keep the boxes to bring things home in. Use the old pillow slip as a laundry case. A portable hair dryer arrived here for you today. Did you order it? Do you like the records? We've had quite a lot of rain and imagine you have also. Patty made a chocolate cake for supper and put on marshmallow icing. She misses you. She wanted to go swimming but no one to go with. She learned to surface dive in swimming. We love you, Mother. And another letter from Ruth to Pamela. 20689 Beechcliff Boulevard, Rocky River, Ohio. Dear Pamela, Mark went to camp at noon today. It rained off and on all day and I hope that you are not too damp and cold. We found your sweatshirt, I think it's yours, hanging in Patty's closet. She thought it was hers. I may mail it to you tomorrow, although it might not get there in time to do any good. Mark will not get back until 2 o'clock p.m. Saturday, so we may have time to get your glasses, if I'm all packed, that is. Stevie's brother Doug is back from Europe. He was in Finland. He brought Stevie a big glider. The fireworks are this Wednesday, but we may visit Mark's camp. Don't worry about my tennis shoes. I bought new ones. We enjoy your letters very much. We're glad the meals are so good. We had a nice card from your Squeaky. Bring these adventurers to bring home for Mark to read. We love you, Mother. P.S. Mark passed his life-saving. Now we have two letters based on the original publication. And they are from, the first is from Ruth S. Ray, the author. Dear Editor, as each SFMC comes, I read them immediately and enjoy. The nostalgia of the years when children were young is overwhelming. I thought that raising a family was fun. When John reads them, I hear him laughing. Most of the time he was away at work, so not aware of all that went on. I'm always amazed at how you find all the photos that you use. Grandma and Grandpa Zook. What a shame that their albums were discarded. Aunt Helen told me not to spend time putting things in albums, for when Grandma and Grandpa died, they went in and took some photos out and threw the rest in the fire. I don't even know where the saved ones are now. I'm still impressed with Patricia's high marks on her Stanford achievement tests. 99th percentile in 8 subjects, grade level of 9.5, and she was in 4th grade. Now a psychiatrist. Thank you for all your time and effort and research. Blessings, Ruth S. Ray, Rocky River, Ohio. And the next letter is from my father, John S. Ray. Dear Editor, many happy memories are reflected on the pages of SMC number 70. When we were in the Bahamas in 1968, Red was exploring and found the old stone house ruin up on the ridge. What a find! Red found a rooster tail conch, another find. Mark said Red was too old to learn how to surface dive, so she immediately learned. Wonderful family trip to the Bahamas in 1968. Patricia had very high marks on her SAT test. John got a verdict in a custody case which it took him 2 years to get. When John called the client to tell her the good news, she was so overwhelmed she could not speak. I do not remember the case. Red was relentless in her efforts to get her mother to visit us or go on vacation with us. Our activity level continued unabated. Peter asked when Dad would get out of work like the children get out of school, and Pamela said the best holiday would be for Dad to stay home from work and not go anywhere. The house has a whole different character when Pamela is home. Thanks for the memories. Love, Dad. John S. Ray, Cleveland, Ohio. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.